Okay, that's just for me.
Okay, so let's first start with how we met, where we met. Most people think photography school because we're both photographers, but that's not true.
No, we met in Canada in 2007, both there for very different reasons. Why were you there?
I was there looking after kids, being a counsellor, 11 to 13-year-olds, a new set every week, taking them to activities and, trying to get them fed and make sure we all clean the bathroom together.
You were like the responsible adult.
I was like the responsible adult. As an 18-year-old, I was the responsible adult. So, and you were only there for 2 weeks. I was there for 10. You were there for 2 weeks doing an extras group thing.
I showed up like midsummer, came out just for 2 weeks. We were all going to be split into the different areas of the camp. So I ended up on a cleaning team, ended up cleaning toilets and showers, but that worked out pretty well because I was able to like get my shift over and done with early on in the morning, and then I had loads of free time to run after this boy that I fancied.
So it's funny how we met, because we met in the most random little entrance, and you came on this big old Canadian like yellow school bus type thing, and as you drove in and you came out, I remember seeing your bright ginger hair, and I remember thinking, yes, like
slow motion,
this is the girl, this is the girl of my dreams. And I'm going to sidle up and...
Sorry, wait a minute. Say that again. Girl of your dreams, but what pact had you made with your brother?
Oh, the ginger hair thing. So yeah, me and my brother had a pact that we wouldn't date ginger girls, so we didn't have ginger children.
Oh, yeah.
So if we don't have ginger children, then, we're safe. But we ended up marrying gingers. So... But no ginger kids. So...
You love ginger babies.
So yes, I found you, liked you, but I didn't want to make it too obvious. So I remember sidling up to the other leaders and be like, hey, look, let me help these guys out. Let me help them out. I know everything.
Super chill.
So yeah, I started grabbing suitcases and accidentally grabbed your suitcase.
And I had my little girly little giggle. I remember you were walking across too, and like in the same moment, I must have had my slow motion hair swirling moment coming off the bus. I remember seeing you all like shoulders coming across, like you had these, I don't know, I say gangster vibes. You're like, I was not gangster.
No, I'm not cool enough to be gangster. I had the eyebrow piercing, so.
I don't know what it was. Like, basically, I think I was just already in Canada being like, oh, it's going to be a summer of like meeting loads of boys. So I saw you come along.
Then literally as soon as you start, there was no boys now. It's just me.
Yeah, I saw you and was like, he's a bit of an all right, which was obviously a cool thing to say in 2007. And yeah, we spent the next 2 weeks kind of like chasing each other down, but like acting super cool because neither of us realized that the other one might like the other.
Pretty much. But we ended up having our first kiss in Canada too, which is kind of cool.
The last night before
the last night at 3 a.m.
So then we were like, oh, we do like each other.
Yeah, we do like each other. And I remember, as cheesy as it sounds, walking back to my cabin at 3 a.m. and seeing a shooting star go right across the sky.
Oh, romantic.
That's the one thing that Muskoka Woods had in abundance was stars.
Yeah,
it was just
clear sky.
Epic. And I remember looking up and seeing a shooting star, and I remember thinking, oh my days, that's so random and so weird. But
so then I went home, and we had all the forms of communication back in the day were MSN.
Yep.
And you said email.
Definitely email. I remember emailing you. I definitely remember a couple of Hotmail emails to you, and
which would be funny because we could definitely find those.
We should be able to find them.
They'd be so rare.
We should be able to find them. So definitely a lot of emails, definitely a lot of MSN. And isn't that amazing, that communication that we had? Who needs phones?
Yeah, well, like, so we already knew that you were going to finish off summer in Canada, and then you had said, I'm coming to Northern Ireland. I'm going to come in and visit you, which you did.
I did. Literally a month after I got back.
Yeah, like I still had a year of school left to do. You had finished school, but had just started a new job. Had you got the job when you were in Canada?
I actually did my phone interview whilst watching you play hockey in Ballymena.
Okay, yeah, so it was important. You came over. You obviously were very chill. Got the job, which meant that you could fly. You were able to afford flying to Northern Ireland to meet your girlfriend. And yeah, I came over, like, it must have been half-term holidays because it was Halloween.
Yep, we dressed up as Ghostbusters.
I don't know why. It was obviously just a good
Your hair was perfectly straight.
Oh,
you had a full fringe.
Yeah.
You did great.
Yeah.
You did good.
Oh, those photos, everything always resurfaces to like haunt you on Facebook.
I had great hair back then as well. My hair was all kind of flicked out. Yeah, it was beautiful.
I like to say middle parting and flicks.
It wasn't the middle part. It was always kind of a side.
But a side parting with flicks isn't going to sound any better. So
that's true.
Go with the middle parting.
Okay.
Act like you meant it to be there. And then, I mean, even when we met in Canada, we both had little cameras. So DSLRs, we both had that interest in photography. But it's
they were
still
cool. They were cool little cameras because they weren't the initial, like, you know how like used to be little square ones. The little lens kind of flicks out.
Yeah.
This is like a proper
Chunky
lens,
camera.
and it felt like you actually got good quality stuff out of them. So
yeah, we had that, I guess, in the back of our heads. We knew that photography was something that like we both enjoyed, that we were both, even I remember meeting you going, oh my goodness, this boy's so like me. He likes cameras too. But I know that from like my school and my education, it wasn't a norm to then go, yes, be a creative and go be a photographer. So I remember I did work experience with a wedding photographer. That was really cool. It kind of set me up on the right path. Even just for then, we met and we were taking photos of like friends and family. You were into band photography.
Oh yeah, well all of my friends growing up were band guys. That was all they did.
The Brighton music scene.
All the Brighton music scene. Anything in the West Coast, like, so yes. So music, band, gigs, that was just my life all the time. And it was great because I got to go in for free everywhere because I could just go in early with the band. So that was always good.
It was good. I think both of us had random experience. And both of us just, whether we knew it or not, we were kind of heading into a photography career. But I suppose earliest days, I remember Googling like studio, like photography jobs, like just random ones. And I'm so glad that I didn't ever apply for them or end up there. I was just working in Next and you were working for a car editing company. And we then kind of like fell into business quite early on, like after meeting, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
You moved over about a year after us dating.
Was it just that?
Yeah.
It was a year. Exactly. It was nearly a year.
Like September to September, yeah.
Yeah. And then I shared a room with your brother, which was kind of fun.
I guess you came over knowing that you were going on a 2-year course, but by the end of it all, we had already started business. So like you lived with my family for 4 years before we got engaged, got married.
Well, I suppose over that 4 years is when we were studying.
And me giving up. I gave up my course.
You gave up your course. I was studying. We started a business 2009 and then got engaged 2011. And then when we got married in 2012, then we moved out and we moved to Antrim.
Yeah.
So it was a long 4 years.
Yeah. And
a long 4 years.
Don't make it sound bad.
I mean, like a lot of stuff happened in the 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But kind of without planning it. Like we never planned to make a business. We planned to make a website. We planned to show people that we were photographers, but very quickly, especially after our first ever wedding show that we went to in Belfast, that kind of propelled us into not just being local photographers who can take photos of your friends and fams. It kind of opened up Belfast clients and your connections being South Coast of England. We did then, like from being married, I remember we were just flying every few weeks to shoot 20 weddings in England and 20 weddings like back home again. Yeah. It was fun.
Well, that's the nice thing about shooting in the South Coast. I think I said West Coast earlier. In West Sussex, South Coast, is that there's different vibes of weddings. They have different styles and different mentalities and stuff. So, so back to us. Back to us.
I know, because I was about to be like, oh yeah, the style, but I guess we'll cover that someday. Like how it was in the 9 years of doing business. But so we got married. Yep. When you proposed, it was a good surprise for me.
Well, it was more because I really wanted it to. Well, I wanted it to be more like a bam, like we're engaged. Because I knew you were going to say yes, and you wasn't going to be like an awkward
We'd
thing.
been together like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and because of that, I knew I couldn't just go, oh, let's go for a walk down the beach. Because the thing is, we weren't really beach walkers. Or like, let's go for a date. We weren't really
if you took me out for dinner, I would have been like, that's
no, we
so
weren't.
weird.
We're not particularly like, let's go and have lots of dates. It was never going to be something that I could surprise you with. It had to be quick, otherwise it was going to give it away. So I remember thinking, let's print this stuff out. I'll print out 2 pieces of paper, one that says marry me, one that says yes, for fun. And,
do you remember the cool design?
Oh, the design. It was swirly and it had little weird patterns on it.
So not you.
And it was like gradient from blue to white.
But back then we didn't care.
No, back then I thought it was good. Back then I genuinely thought, that looks awesome. I should probably be a designer. I'm going to add that to my
I really hope. Are you allowed to in these kind of things like have a little flashing image come up? Like
if we can find, if we can, we'll overlay the photo that we took of us. Because
then you've also got my straight hair and big bangs,
big old fringe.
Yeah,
that was a good fringe though. It looked good. But I remember
presumptuous because you only had 2 envelopes and one said yes.
Yeah, well, because you were never going to say no. Obviously,
okay,
it's me.
Okay.
But then I thought, I know what I'll do. Instead of just like giving you a piece of paper, which would be rubbish, I'll put them into plain brown, like card heavy envelopes.
Yeah.
And then even get a label maker and print the names on it. And then
label maker.
Yep.
So Monica.
Well, I think it was my dad's, like a little label address thing, and then send them in the post, actually get them proper, officially like legit done, right. And then put them on the letterbox and then get them ready for you. So that meant that you'd assume it was like a business thing. You'd assume that, both have a company, blah, blah, blah.
And it was because you were just like, go get the post.
Yeah, well, you came downstairs with a bit of a migraine. You felt a bit like, ugh.
Oh yeah, so good day to propose to someone when they're.
Do you know what? That's feeling every time we hear that, it's usually an engagement where the guy's bricking it and the girl's just not in the best mood. Yeah. So this is just a classic, I think. It's a bit of a cliche. So you weren't in the best of mood. I said go and get the post. So you went and got the post.
While you were making a wee cup of tea.
I was making a cup of tea, and then you opened up your one and it said marry me, and then you looked up and I was holding the ring and I remember like shuffling over to you I didn't get down on one knee, but I was never going to do that.
We're not those kind of people.
Particularly, I wasn't fussed about doing that. So I shuffled over to you, you cried. I don't think you even said yes straight away.
No, I think
I knew you were going to say yes. I think you forgot.
In this moment, I don't remember the ring. I don't remember that part of it because obviously I remember the envelopes.
I remember the box. It opened in 2. So I remember that.
Most boxes.
No, most opened in 1. No, shut up. I mean, it had 2 little doors. Like, it was like a top thing.
Oh,
it did that.
See, you have a memory for these kind of things.
We probably should have that box somewhere safe.
Yeah, somewhere.
Memories.
Somewhere. Good times.
But you did say yes eventually.
Yeah. And we knew we didn't want a long engagement, but we did want like that kind of early spring like wedding.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be winter.
So we couldn't do the next month. So we gave ourselves a year. I'm planning the wedding. Like, I think it was fun because we were already in the wedding world. Mm-hmm. So we were definitely influenced by like what we liked, what we didn't like, not even didn't like, but what we didn't need.
Yeah.
We were very much like, we wanted a fuss-free format. We liked the outdoorsy vibes, even though we lived in Northern Ireland, that could have been rainy and all of those kind of things.
I even like the fact that when we were engaged, do you remember we got engaged and then a couple of days later we actually photographed an engagement?
Oh my goodness, we felt so
qualified. We felt like we were actually we actually know what it feels like to
know.
Yeah, because it's so weird shooting weddings and engagements when you haven't done that.
Because we were so young starting.
Oh yeah, because it makes sense. But when we got engaged, I remember us waiting for Laura and Wes to arrive.
That's right.
And we're like, oh my word, we actually know what this is like us now. Too. And we actually felt like we knew we knew a little bit more of what it was like.
Yeah, that was fun.
So that was quite fun.
Yeah, and then I mean, another question that people always ask us is, well, who did you guys choose for your wedding photographer? And I think it was really cool because we had obviously watched a lot of photographers like both London, America, all these different people. Mm-hmm. And we had always just loved one guy specifically for his creativity. Because again, your brain is that kind of, it's like, it's good to do things one way, but why do we have to be like everybody else? And this guy was not like everybody else. Like, he kind of went after, I guess, just images that he created in his brain. And then because he's more of a scientist, I guess, he was able to then create something cool that just, it was always epic. That's right. So we had that feeling of, imagine like if we could have him as our photographer. So we had definitely like got in touch with a lot of different people, but we emailed him, like laid it out, Irish wedding. And then we FaceTimed him. His name was Jeff Newsom. I don't think he went by anything else. That was his photography name as well.
Yeah, that was him.
We FaceTimed him to just like get to know him. I think time zone, he was laying in his bed and we were like, this is cool. He's so chill.
He just launched his website, I'm pretty certain.
That's right.
That night.
And you know what? It just felt like a really easy thing to like get him here. It wasn't as expensive as we thought it was going to be because it sounds very like elaborate to be like, oh, we flew our photographers from California. But actually, like, he was seeing it as like a opportunity as well. And he did a workshop that we got to be involved in as well. In
Birmingham.
Oh yeah, I was going to say Liverpool, but it was Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Which was fun because do you remember the earliest days? Like, there were so many photographers that we all started in the same like time. And so it was cool. Even things like that, we got to put like names to faces that we'd seen online for a long time. Yeah,
and we got to model, because remember, like the Wednesday before our wedding, he said, hey, look, I'm doing two of them because I've sold out. Could you come be like models for one of them? We're like, yes. We just jumped on a flight with him, and obviously he got a friend as well, Rog.
Yeah.
over as well, which is another guy that we followed, which is just amazing. We've got 2 photographers for the price of 1, effectively, which is epic. And then, it meant that we could go over, be a part of the workshop, get more photos of us, and just hang out with them, which is really fun for that.
Yeah. And then we got married 26th of May, 2012. Northern Ireland, but we got it was epic weather for that full week leading up to it. It was 26 degrees. We were having teepees in a field, so it was amazing because the cows that had been in it the week before had left big old hoof marks, and our friends tried to flatten down the field, but ultimately we just cordoned off areas to be well, don't go walking in there, or just don't wear high heels to our wedding because it's in a field. It was just fun. It was fun because it was the vibes that we wanted. We got the weather. It was just cool. It was a good way to do things.
It was the best way to do things. Yeah. And because it was exactly the that we wanted to do it.
I think that's it. I think people expected, in a nice way, people expected that, and it was still early enough with those kind of things that teepees were quite new and fun and fresh. It just was, I really enjoyed our wedding. I wouldn't do it differently. Would you?
No, because the weather worked.
Yeah,
if
that's
the weather
true.
had been really rubbish, we probably would have gone, we probably could have done something different, but it didn't. Yeah. It didn't mean anything then because the weather was so perfect. It meant that everything we decided matched the weather.
Yeah.
So
we were married 2012, and then business had we were fully in the throes of it at that stage of life, weren't we? So I know that we'll talk about how Navyblur went. So I guess we can fast forward to 2014 is when Marley came along, our first baby boy.
That's right.
2018, Piper came along, our baby girl. And then 2020, when it was lockdown, COVID, all those things, Nala came along, our third and final, I say final, girl. So we have 3 children. And it's been it's so hard to try and talk about just us without Navyblur. And it's hard to talk about Navyblur without then talking about and bringing in family, because for us, everything's been so intertwined. I feel even getting to this point now, setting this up, it's kind of it's been 9 years of, raising a family, but also trying to sustain business. But they both, we've grown in both areas. And I'm grateful for that. But this is definitely our time now, isn't it? To go, okay, the kids, the youngest is in nursery, so we get these couple of hours in the morning. What a blessing.
I know, 2 hours just to be able to sit with each other and discuss all the things that we've been wanting to discuss. Every time that we have a discussion, it's always interrupted. We never have more than a few minutes to get everything out. So the fact that we've now got 2 hours every day that we can go, okay, let's start focusing on the business, because we've found that maybe we've spent a little bit too much time just doing operations, just getting the weddings.
Good. We're really good at that side of things.
No, we are. Just getting the couples happy. And if our couples are happy and they get nice wedding shots and they like them, great, move on to the next one. And we've hoped that's
when you say
help.
that, it's we take good photos, we are nice people on the wedding day, and that side of it is the bish bash bosh, could do it with our eyes closed. But then it was always the after, when the kids were at home and we're all trying to get work done, but also just facilitate family life in the middle of it all. It was always things like social media that fell flat, or that that's not our world as well.
No.
We were never, I think it was 2016 that we came off social media, personally.
Yeah.
But that's, I guess 2016 is probably when social media ramped up into the world of show your life, and people buy into that.
Well, people like that. People buy into people. Yeah. And with us being
and we
such
that with other people, but we just personally were I like seeing other people's, but not necessarily.
Plus, we found that in our best times, our worst times more, that we were on our phones too much, and we're still on our phones probably too much, and that's without being a part of that. So we knew that had to go, but because people buy into people in the business, and because wedding photography is such a people-based thing, it's really important. So hence why we're doing this, so that we can kind of bridge a gap that means that we don't have to be on social media a lot and have to update things all the time. But we can still show the vibe, because that's why we want to do these sorts of things anyway, with video chats with couples, so that they can get a vibe for us.
I was just about to say that as well. Yeah, that video, we've always offered video chats when people first get in touch with us. And although we still will do that, it's just this is what we talk about all the time. We talk about who we are, where we came from. No, we didn't meet in photography school. Yep. We have these kids at home. But even just, we just want to show ourselves in that way that makes people go, oh, okay, they're just normal people, kind of like me. I think I could have them come and hang out with me and my girls and me and my guys in the morning. So
we're normal, real people.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.